Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
And I am Anthony C.A. A pleasant welcome to Focus on Liberia, where we educate, we elevate, and promote all things our dear country, Liberia. If you are just joining us, welcome. This is yet another edition of the Hour of Politics with me, your guy, Anthony C.A. It remains our nation, Liberia, on the mind. Not only my mind, but also on your mind. We are barely about maybe 36 days to election. And the nation and its people do have a responsibility. Are we in a better place? Do we have a better leadership? Are we proud of our leaders that we have today? Is the current administration doing its best? And is that best good enough? How are our people doing? Are they happier today? Are their conditions better today? Folks, it is 2023. This is the year you heard about that we have to decide a new leadership for our country, or to make a decision whether to stay with the current leadership or to make a decision to choose another one, maybe hoping that that one will be better, or maybe staying with the one we have, maybe with the belief that it's better and that we don't see an alternative. Is that was the case for you listening to me? Well, we will find out where your mind is in this presentation. I bring you the topic, our 2023 likely choices bad compared to our unlikely choices. And by the way, I have two questions here, and they are somehow synonymous. It's the opposite of the other. Are our 2023 likely choices bad compared to our unlikely choices? What do I mean by likely choices? There are people running to be president, some people running to be senators and representatives who have better chances based on the political variables, who have the likelihood of winning, the possibility for them to win, the possibilities are higher compared to those who are their opponents. So I'm asking a question, are our likely choices, those who stand better chances or more chances to win, are they bad compared to the ones whose chances are unlikely, those who have the least chances to win, Is that the situation that we have? Then I flip the question around. Or are our 2023 unlikely choices better compared to our likely choices? And I will tell you who our unlikely choices are. And I will also tell you who are our likely choices. So I am trying to make a presentation to see whether, given the way things are now, those who stand better chances to win are bad compared to those who have the least or, no chances of winning at all. And if that is the case, that our likely choices, those who stand better chances of winning, are bad, and that we have those who have the least and unlikely chances to win are the ones that are better. Better meaning they can make good president, they can make good senators, they can make good representatives. Better meaning that they can lead us to respectability, that they can help to transform our country, that they can provide leadership that will bring out the goods. The goods meaning foreign direct investment. The good meaning jobs for the young people. The goods meaning that the young people that are on drugs, they are rehabilitated and they are turned into productive citizens. Those are the goods. The individuals who have those ability, with whom, based on their record, based on their experiences, based on their integrity, those individuals who can give us the goods, who can provide us a leadership, with whom our country can get better leadership, are those people who have those least choices better compared to those individuals, those presidential candidates, those senatorial candidates, those representative candidates who have the better chances of winning and giving us the very bad legislatures that we have had, that has been the fulcrum of bad governance. Our legislature has not been good for us. The legislature has, in my argument here, I can make, has intentionally and willfully legitimized or legalized corruption. That is what they have done. In other words, they have cheated our people of better representation. These people were elected by citizens in their respective counties and districts to represent them, to advocate for them. Advocate for what? For schools, for roads, for hospitals, better life conditions, all right, community centers, and you name it. What have our lawmakers have done for these people? Instead of them coming to advocate for the people, to provide for them the things for which they elected them, these people advocated for no one else but themselves. They fatten their bank accounts, they fatten their pockets, or they enlarge their pockets, and they left our people with bad representation, and as a result, they are living in nothing but complete destitution. And poverty has become their portion. How do we change that? And that is the responsibility that lies before us. That's the responsibility that lies before us in this election. So I am asking the question, are our likely choices bad compared to our unlikely choices? Or are our unlikely choices for president, for vice president, for representative and senators, are our unlikely choices better? If our unlikely choices are better, can we, as a people, collectively and intentionally, move, act, do the right thing to make those unlikely choices, if and only if they are better, then the likely choices, to make them now the likely choices so that we can give ourselves better representation, better government, a better governance system that benefit the people, to avert to prevent, to stop this system of governance that has not helped our people. It's not that a system, the way they set it, is bad. It's the individuals who have been operating the system, have operated the system at the displeasure, at the dissatisfaction, at the dismay, at the frustration, a complete letdown of the people. And so I again beg the questions. Number one, are our 2023 likely choices bad compared to our unlikely choices? And or are our 2023 unlikely choices better compared to our likely choices? With that said, I will go into the presentation. I will identify who our unlikely choices are as well as our likely choices. And if you stay with me and share the broadcast, we will be able to come with one understanding and establish whether or not our unlikely choices are better and our likely choices are bad, and what do we do about it as a people? And how did we even get to this point that our unlikely choices are better? And do we see that our unlikely choices are better? Do we see that? Are you seeing that? Do you even know them? What even make them better anyway? And what even make our likely choices bad anyway? Do you know? Do you want to know? Do we have the ability as a people? Do we have the consciousness as a people? Do we have the understanding as a people? Do we have the wherewithal as a people? Do we have the fortitude as a people? Do we have the temerity as a people? And do we have the resolve to change our story? And I tell you this much. Two major ways we change our story. We change our story by electing a responsible leadership, more so at the executive level. And that leadership will go to give us a private sector and to train our citizens, our forwardness, in order to move forward. For us to move from nothingness to something, it depends on us as a people. How we see ourselves, how we see our country, how we understand where we are. Where do we want to go? Do we have an idea of where we want to go? What is your role in that process, in that effort? Or are you that one who is saying, this is my party and I will obey my party mandate? Or are you the one who are saying, are you the one who's saying, hey, this is my presidential candidate? Maybe also because he is from my county. Or also he is my kinsman. And so and so. Sorry, folks. Hey, bro, I'm live. I'll call you back. And so I will obey him, even though I have a sense that he is not up to the task. Even though I have a sense that he is not a better representation of our country. But I will stick with him because the whole thing is about how I feel as a person, that the president is from a town, the president is from a tribe. Do you not see a nation like Liberia counting on you to serve it better? You have a responsibility. There's this thing you must know, though. It does not necessarily matter what county, what tribe your president is. For we have had presidents who have had a tribe come from the party, or is from somewhere, or identified and said somehow. So the issue is not about what tribe, what political party, what region you come from. It is not. It has never been, and it should not be about it now. Because if others have made it about it, then what did we get? What did we get from that? We have Doe from the Crown Agni tribe. He served as president. How did we do? We had Charles Taylor, reportedly from the Americo-Liberian side. How did we do? Did we do bad because he was from, the what they call the Congo people? Is that what we did bad? Are we doing bad now because President Weah is cruel? I don't think that is the reason. Fellow Liberians, whoever will pay will be a Liberian, and that Liberian should be our best, and that best can be defined by who they are, what they have done, what they will do, what has been their record. That is the only thing we can bet on as a people as we decide whether or not we need change. Do we need change? I think we do. So, folks, let me not waste your time. Let's go to the conversation here, Father. Let's start with the easier question. Who are our likely choices? And what make them our likely choices? Let me answer that one with some concise analysis. It's obvious, folks. This thing is like bread and butter. Say a crude man, let me say this is like pan butter rice. Our likely choices are obvious based on what we have seen so far. At the presidential level, we have President George Manneh, we are seeking re-election. We have Mr. Joseph Boakai is trying to net the presidency again. He has an impressive name recognition. He is from one of Liberia's political party that has a history of winning election and also has a history of making it to the second round. Joseph Boakai, I see an impressive appetite for him in the voting community in Liberia. Voters are lining up. I see a lot of young people who are enthusiastic about Joseph Boakai. I see an impressive appetite for him. So it puts Joseph Boakai in the category of a likely presidential candidate. In other words, someone who stands a chance to win. The same can be said about President George Manneh. He comes from CDC. CDC has had an impressive history of winning, not only at the presidential level in the last election, but also that in 2005, they make it to the second round. In 2011, they make it to the second round. In 2017, they make it to the second round and they will win the election. And prior to that, their legislative candidates have had so much successes, if I can put it that way. And President George Weah, to his credit, remains so popular, not only among Seditians, but every Liberian who is of age knows the name George Manneh. Now, for his supporters, some individuals within his party, George Weah has been a blessed human being, no question whatsoever. And he's been loved for that. And so that love is still with some people. They love him. They are drunk with love for him. They don't care what you say. In fact, the more you try to spew out some criticism, even they are fair or not, they will not hesitate but to love him more. And they have given him names, the Barrow Medicine, their Black president. And they are even making claims that he has done so much for this country, Liberia, in his first years or first term compared to all the presidents of Liberia combined. What a ridiculous and unfortunate and false statement. But hey, that is what they believe. That is what they hold strongly. And on that basis, they are bent on electing him. The point I'm making here is President Weah, let us agree, let us establish that he also possesses a chance. He is in the likely category to win re-election, given the way things are right now. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it is likely. And the reason also is the opposition community has done itself the greatest disservice and indirectly have done President Weah so much good. So Weah has been in a much better position than he should have been if the opposition were together. And not that they necessarily needed to stick together as a single unit, but they should not have disparaged. They should not have denigrated. They should not have destroyed each other. They should have had a single opponent who should have been their target, even if they were doing it separately. And even if they have, more so if they have had a consensus to unite at the end of the day. But that is not in the picture. That possibility is destroyed. Now, whether or not they're going to pull it off, that is another thing that we cannot bet on. Because as we look at the political sides on the opposition, they have done so much to themselves. So, folks, the simple answer is, on the presidential level, we have two likely choices, President Weah and Joseph Boakai. Are these choices better? Are these choices bad compared to the unlikely choices? Who are our unlikely choices at the presidential level? It is unlikely. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it is unlikely right now based on the way things stand. And that is my assessment. That is focused on Liberia assessment. It is unlikely as we speak right now. I'm not saying that that unlikeliness, if I can pull it that way, will remain up to election day. It may change. We don't know. I don't know if there's so much time left to change minds. I don't know if there's so much time left for these people who we see in an unlikely category to change themselves from that unlikely category to a likely category. Do they have time? How much time they have had? And they are not in the likely category. They have had 5 years to pull themselves in a likely category. And now how much time do they have? They have less than 38 days, or they have less than 36 days to put themselves in a likely category. So if in 5 years you did not succeed to put yourself in a likely category, how is it possible that you can do that in 36 days? If anybody can do it, it's that Mr. Cummings, who remains in an unlikely category of making it to the second round. If anybody can do it, it's Tiawon Gonglo, who is now, based on my assessment, is in the unlikely category. Can he turn things around and put himself into the likely category? And if he could not do it 2 years ago because he started late, can he do it now in 36 days? Is it doable? If anybody can do it, it's a Tiawon. And what does he have to do it? It's just the need Tiawon Gonglo? Is that the need Pullman lawyer? Is he working? How effective has he been? And are people even listening to him? Is there an appetite for him out there? If there is, how huge, how impressive, how fast moving it is. It needs to be a tsunami. It needs to be like a volcano that explodes and captures everywhere and moves to change the face of that particular locality. Is that what we see in Liberia with Tiawon Gonglo? Does Cummings has it? Does Cummings have it, to put it right? Does he have it? Does Cummings have it to make it happen in 36 days to change things around, to put himself in a likely category? Another person who is in the unlikely category is Dr. Clarence Moniba, the son of former Vice President, Dr. Harry Moniba. He's the son of Lofa, a young man who is doing all he can to give himself name recognition in the political space in Liberia. And then we have an international expert, an internationalist, Sarah Besloyanti. She jumped in the race very late. I think she just came here so that we will remember her in the next election. And I think this is all she's up to, because you can't be serious and come to this business that requires time, that requires money, that requires a lot of work, and you need all the time. You are not from a traditional, political party that has been around. Your political party need, I doubt if even 10,000 Liberians know the name of her party. I doubt even, I just went too far, 10,000, maybe the 5,000 Liberians know her party. Even those of you listening to the program right now, do you know the name of the political party Sarah Besloyanti is contesting on? You don't even know. Let alone the woman herself. But I will submit to say she possesses impressive credentials. Until she proves me wrong, she can be a better leader. She has been in leaderships in the international cycle with the United Nations, have served in so many capacities and all that. And so if she is being successful, the only thing we can assume, and I'm intentionally saying the word assume, is that she will succeed, or she may succeed, because she has been in this space, this environment of leadership and performing and executing and delivering result. In other nations, she's been able to do it. And so I can own it, assume she will be up to the task. But where is she as we speak? She is in an unlikely category to making it to the the second round. Politically, she's unknown. So she is definitely locked, sealed in the unlikely category. So maybe we should not waste time on that. The same thing can be said about Dr. Clarence Monimba. And the same thing can be said about the other presidential candidates that we don't want to waste our time on here, because they are unknown. And the names we hear: Cummings, Walker, and Gonglo. 4 presidential candidates who name we hear all the time. And of the 4, we are saying 2 are in the likely categories that we are Mbwaka. And 2 are now, currently as we speak, in the unlikely category, the Cummings and Mr. Gonglo. So they have 36 days to turn it around and put themselves in the likely category. Will they do it? Do they have the juice? We don't know. Do they have the time? I don't think that time is enough, because if they could not do it in 2 years, they could not do it in 4 years. I don't see how they put it off right now in 36 days. But again, I am a strong and firm believer in the saying that anything is possible. That does not mean it can be possible with them. That does not mean it will not be possible with them, but that is their opportunity to make it happen. So, folks, are our likely choices bad? And if yes, why are they bad compared to our unlikely choices? And are our unlikely choices better compared to our likely choices? And what are the things that made our unlikely choices better compared to our likely choices? So let's start with President Weah. He is a likely choice who the Liberian people can decide to put him in an unlikely category. But for now, for the sake of this presentation, we have already placed him in the likely category to make it to the second round. What is bad, if any, about him? There are so many things that are bad about him. Is he bad compared to Gonglo? Is he bad compared to Cummings? These are the 2% in the likely category. My answer is yes. President Weah is a poor leader. Leadership has never and ever been his thing in his life. He has been a blessed human being. He has been a star, a celebrity, who people have gravitated to because of his previous in the profession of football, where he mesmerized the world with his driven skills, where he has captured the minds of people all across the world with his fame as an iconic superstar in the area of football. Because he represented something. He represented the Black identity on the international scale. And on the national scale, he represented Liberia. He represented possibility. He represented a story that anyone, no matter your upbringing, no matter your family, you can come from that place of nothingness. You can come from that downtrodden space. And with work, with determination, with love for your profession and passion, you can become something not only in your country, but you can become something in the world. That is the story that everyone identifies with. So that has been the good of President Weah. And if any good I can add, President Weah coming to politics, those who follow him, especially in 2005, just by being on the ticket of that party CDC, whether you were known or unknown, it was a victory for you. And that had given an opportunity to so many people to come to politics. It has given them an opportunity for them to serve their people and move our country close to a land of opportunity for the young and the old. Sadly and sadly, those individuals came and served themselves on it and left us behind. That was a good thing. That was something that could not have been possible for some of those fellow citizens that became possible. And they used the opportunity for their pockets. And they did not use the opportunity to serve their country and put their country in a better place for themselves, for their children, for their nieces, and for the country to be respected. That is a good thing that he brought. We can't dismiss that. But when it comes to President Weah as our leader, serving us, he has been more about himself. His party has been a disappointment. They have disappointed their own fellow partisans. Look at the personal wealth that individuals who are hierarchy in the CDC have acquired for themselves in the shortest possible time. Even look at the national budget, how they appropriate the national budget. Look at how much is being allotted to the First Lady compared to what is given to even the Monrovia Consolidated School System. Look at what is being given to the First Lady in previous budget year and compare it to JFK. In their first year, JFK got 500,000. The First Lady got 500,000. The second year, I think JFK got about 700,000. And the First Lady got about, I think it was a recast, but she got it since 700,000. President Josh Manoa, we are in the 2022 budget. It was the 2021 budget. The Ministry of Presidential Affairs got $20 million allotment. Whereas the judiciary branch of government, that is an entire branch, the presidential affair is just a ministry within the executive. It got more money than the entire judiciary branch of government. When we are talking about the rule of law, when we are talking about the fair dispensation of justice for the poor. And yet, This president will intentionally, along with his official and willfully, and they will connive politically with the legislature to cheat our people on justice. You don't wonder why, if you show up as at a court, they are asking you to provide even papers for the clerk to tab your case. Because our leaders have failed their responsibility. If that is not a letdown, then I don't know what that is. Leave me right now and go to Tottenham High, one of Liberia's prestigious high schools that has produced so much for us. Go there today. Look at the building. It's been 5 years and counting. That building remains in an appreciable condition as we speak, and is right there in the heart of Monrovia. At some point, the president, along with the Minister of Education, D. Ansusonin, I believe is the name, they went there and they were embarrassed to see that the chalkboard, even you can write on it smoothly. As we speak, there are not functional libraries in our high school right there in Monrovia. 5 years and counting. But I can count for you how much President Weah, as an individual, has acquired for himself as wealth. A private jet, 49 condominiums, Jamaica Resort. I can go on and on and on. And I want to tell you about the 75,000 up to 100,000 value cars that he has acquired for himself. And I want to remind you about how much they will spend for hotels. I don't want to remind you about presidential trips that he's making. He's going with 100 people. And how they will even refuse to tell you how much money they're spending on these trips, because they know if they tell you those amounts, you will get angry. Why? Zogos are roaming the street. And why schools remain in horrible conditions. These people are spending. I remember Samuel Tuah when they were going to China. Samuel Tuah changed his ticket and it was 25,000 United States dollars for Samuel Tuah to go to China. 25,000 United States dollars. This poor man who have just been given this opportunity to serve his country. That is what he felt was a just decision to make. They went to that China. They talk about so-called mineral swap, and they were going to bring about $1 billion investment. That ended in fiasco. They wasted the nation's money on that useless trip. Liberia is yet to benefit a dime, but they have lined their pockets with pedams on that trip. They went there impressing us that they were going to advocate, negotiate for the country to bring investment to our people. All that money wasted. And you tell me that they are doing so much good and that they are building roads as though they are building the roads with their money anyway. The military hospital comes to mind and stayed there. It remains a death trap. Liberians have to be flown out of the country to get advanced medical care. And then you tell me all this well. And this is the best administration ever, folks. I'm telling you, and I will say it as straight as I can tell you. They could do better. They are not doing better. These people are bluffing. These people are unserious. They are not intentional. They are not calculative. They are not robust. They have become heartless. These are the higher paid government officials in the world. Maybe you didn't hear me. Our legislators, you know, have been the highest. These people are making more money than senators and representatives and even president in the greatest democracy and the world richest country on earth, the United States of America. Our president, our vice president, our senators and representatives are making more than elected officials in America. This is an established fact. When our country is the poorest in the world, and the ones who preside over this system of governance is the CDC headed by President Weah and the likes, and you tell me that they are good for our country. I don't know what is good anymore. I don't know. I do not know. So I said this much. These are the things that make the likely choice in President we are in the CDC of making it to the second round a bad choice for our people. And it is an established fact, and I'm not going to hesitate about it. So let's come to likely choice number 2. Comrade Joseph Yuma Boakai. Impressive name recognition from one of Liberia's, experienced political party, the Unity Party. It has membership across the country. There is an impressive voter appetite out there. President Weah has reduced Liberians' living standard. Poverty has increased. Hardship is written on the faces of our people. Our people have become beggars and refugees in their own land. And nothing absolutely works in Liberia anymore. Our airports, planes are being diverted. President, we have promised all a jet line for our country. They call it the Lone Star Air, the wings of Liberia. In 2021 October, it's supposed to be operating. It's 2 years later, it's nowhere. They will go and change the story. But we saw them at the dedicatory ceremony at the airport. They brought a plain cake in front of our people. They made mockery of themselves and the thing they were monging our people. And yet the president enjoys a private jet, and the airline that were promised that's supposed to be owned and operated by Liberia to give Liberia affordable plane tickets, that has not come to pass, and yet the president enjoys a private jet. Is that good for Liberia? That the president from the poorest country enjoys a private jet, he will promise his people and he will fill them. And that is good for Liberia. The airport is poorly managed. Many times light went off, planes have to be diverted. And a finance minister who will tell her they will wait for the rainy season so that they can get alternative. That's when they will be able to get more power. And at some point, that was when they were looking for some $24 million to ensure that there's reliable electricity at the airport. Folks. So let me leave Comrade Weah alone. He is my brother. We share the same town of Southern. But this is not about our common identity. This is about our common nationality. This is about common responsibility. This is about a nation we have a responsibility to. This is about a nation we have to develop. We have to turn into an opportunity for those coming after us. This is what it's all about. And when that happens, we all laugh. We all take pride. In what it is and who we are as a people. That's what it is. That is the right thing to do. Comrade Boakai, as I was saying, is in the likely category. Is he bad for Liberia? That likely choice in Boakai, that likely choice of the Unity Party return to power. What would they do differently? What did they do before? Before, in a Unity Party's government, a government that came to serve us immediately after the war years. What did we experience as a people during the war? We experienced hunger. We experienced violence. We experienced the worst and decapitating human condition and human suffering of all sorts. Kids getting swelling up because they were not getting the right diet. Parents looking like skeletons because there were no food. We became beggars in our own country. We rely on rations. Our women and our beautiful sisters were looking like skeletons. No one had appetite anymore. The worst human condition ever we have experienced in our nation's history. When we saw our brothers and sisters dead in the streets, many of them gone down by our own brothers and sisters, swelling up. Some of them, sadly to say, were being eaten by dogs. We have just come from that experience, people. Unity Party will be given an opportunity to serve. I don't want to go and litigate intellectually about how they won the election. That has far gone. I hold the belief that whatever way it happened for the Unity Party to come to power through Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, that was a better choice. That was made by those who made that choice at the time. I doubt our people made that choice. But it was good, and I'm glad it happened. For if that had not happened, we would have been in a much bigger trouble. But so going back to that, we had just experienced that. And Unity Party will come to power. And let me not forget about the Charles Taylor experience. When that guy called Gange came to power, after he became the chief murderer during the war, he persecuted a war that took away our brothers and sisters. This man will come to power. This man will forget to know that, he brought war on us and we have suffered, and he needed to provide leaders. This guy was not tired terrorizing. He was not tired of terrorizing Liberians, intimidating Liberians, beating Liberians, killing Liberians, and making Liberians to live in their own country as though they were slaves and were subject to a king. Tyranny was the best way to describe the Charles Taylor administration. And the most unfortunate thing of all, hunger was the order of the day. His government could not pay civil servants. People were only taking pay sometimes twice or three times a month. On Christmas Day and in December when Christmas was coming, and sometime in July when the 26th was coming. And yet this guy, through the anti-terrorist unit, who refreshed Liberian memories about what they experienced in the war. The Charles Taylor ATU was ruthless. They would beat anybody in the street and nothing would come out of it. This man, as reported, will beat his own vice president to death in Ndogoli. Charles Taylor was a tester for evil. But let me stop there before I get off track. The picture I want you to see is Liberians have experienced the worst of it all. And Unity Party was given the opportunity to give us a relief. What did the Unity Party do? The Unity Party of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, a political figure that I respect because she knows what she wants, she gets it, she has the know-how, and I love a politician who is a fighter, who is connected. I like Ellen for that. But I don't like Ellen when she cheats Liberians. I don't like Ellen when Ellen disappoints Liberians. I don't like Ellen when Ellen will not be the president for the people. You come from the United Nations cycle. Liberia war at the time could not be compared to any. The international community has the appetite to help Liberia. And Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, an internationalist who has the eloquence, who has that charm to charm the world, to charm America, to pull billions, to transform Liberia. In 12 years, she failed miserably to transform Liberia. Don't tell me about the birthday roads here and there. How are we doing now with roads, folks? Oh, they built airport. Where is the airport now? Oh, they established institutions. Where are the institutions now? How good were the institutions at the time? Spare me this thing about mediocrity. Somebody do small little thing. Hey. Ellen comes from America. Ellen comes from the United Nations. Ellen has seen the world. Ellen knows what leadership is. That tiny country. has won the sympathy of the entire world. And we only needed a leader in Ellen Johnson Sirleaf to tap into that sympathy, that appetite, that desire for the whole world to help Liberia. America has been right there. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf did not deliver to my expectation. So spare me with Rose and Airport and what's the color, the other one, this center she built over there. Spare me that. Look at the University of Liberia. Oh, her plus should be a renovation. How are we doing with the University of Liberia? She should have transformed that institution 100%. How did we do? What was the budget compared to other things? That's the Unity Party picture I'm printing, and you will get it. So, to really put this nail in this coffin with the Unity Party, see how we have suffered, what the country has gone through during the war years, Honor Taylor and Ellen Wilkin, and that goodwill was there. And what did she do with the goodwill? What did they do with the goodwill? In the words of Comrade Bwaka, he said, and I quote, they squander the opportunities. In the words of Bwaka, they were focusing on PowerPoint presentation instead of implementing. That is the footstep Bwaka speaking. And yet he stayed there. He licked the crumbs. He milked the system. That Unity Party was paying some government officials 25,000 United States dollars, 15,000 United States dollars, 20,000 United States dollars, 12,000 United States dollars. That Unity Party that was given that opportunity to show us as a people some gratitude, some respect, to dignify our people. How could your people come from a war, from Charles Taylor, have suffered enough, and then you come to power, and you are paying your people $25,000, $15,000, when we had schools that needed to be renovated, when we have roads that needed to be built, when our brothers and sisters were being paid practically nothing, they were wasting the money on officials. And these officials were not effective at their responsibilities. For example, the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs, and Tourism. Under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Liberia, I can make an argument, did not earn a penny in tourism. We should have attracted. The war has in it. That alone was a reason for the world to come and see what happened. Was there significant documentation done to show to the world through the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs, and Tourism? Did we revitalize our historical centers in no time to show those things to the world? Was the Ministry of Information telling Liberia's story to the world to attract investors, to attract tourists to come and see? Did they do that? They were all on nothing but propaganda, singing praises and political chorus about Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Men who should be patriots has succumbed to her for bread, while the country was longing for redemption. And Bwaka was there. This is the Unity Party that want to metamorphosize. And Joe Bwaka makes the argument that he is no Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and I get it. So show me how you are not Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. A consequential decision that a man makes or a woman makes who is running to be president of a nation is to choose a vice presidential running mate, somebody will say. Who did Bouakai give us? In 2017, Bouakai gave us Nunkwe, a man who was in the legislature, Ways, Means, and Finance, who was milking it, who helped to produce a budget that was not in the interest of the people, a budget that allotted pretty much significant portion of the entire revenue to the legislatures, the legislators. That was what Nunkwe did. And that's the person Joe Bouakai chose at the time. When competent Liberians, patriots were around, he chose a Nunkwe. Again, another opportunity shows up at Joseph Bouakai's life. He left Tiawan Gonglo alone. A decent and respected citizen, a patriot. He left Cummins, another Homo Liberian who is a good example among us, who has achieved success, whose story is worth of any Liberian to emulate. He left him. Sarah Besloyenti, he left her. A woman who served as head of United Nations mission in another country and served in so many capacities in the United Nations. That woman was not good in Bouakai's eyes to make a better vice president for our country. Who did he choose? He chose a Kun, Jeremiah Kun, again from the same Ways, Means, and Finance. That committee that has been our problem, that committee that has been allotting peanuts for education, that has been allotting peanuts for agriculture, that has allotted nothing for development in our country, and have placed all the money in their pockets. That is the person Joseph Bouakai has chosen. And upon whose advice, upon whose question did he do that? A Prince Johnson, man with the history of killing a constitutionally elected president. That is the one who impressed on Bouakai to make that decision. Bouakai is listening to Prince Johnson. And that Prince Johnson now will be talking all kinds of rubbish. He will be making his intention known behind him, that Joseph Bouakai is old. Prince Johnson has an agenda. He's on a mission. He has located his path to wield more power. This man should be no near power. The people of Nimba, they are something else. That they would intentionally and always elect this man for doing absolutely nothing for them. But again, that is a debate. They see what I don't see. And that's okay. That is their county. But I must speak because this man is not only for their county, he's representing Liberia. And he is a disgrace to this nation that he is a leader in our country. Prince Johnson is saying this man is old. The old man too old. When we win, the Kun will be doing all the job. And the very Kun that Bouakai chose said that Joseph Bouakai has declined in memory. That he's old. He's in Pampers. He said that just barely 2 years ago. Joseph Bouakai heard those words. And Joseph Bouakai will choose Kun because Prince Johnson says so. And this is the Prince Johnson that turns around and said that man is too old. I gave him Kun. When we win, Kun will be doing the job. When Kun is doing the job, Prince Johnson is doing his job. Prince Johnson is your president. In the event anything happens to Joseph Boakai, if and when he wins. So, folks, look at it strictly. Is that a good choice? Joseph Boakai is in a likely category. Is he a good choice for our country, given the attachment, given the decisions he made? Is he? Imagine Boakai wins, something happens, we have Kun and Prince Johnson here all over us. And look at the man Kun himself. Imagine for once that your president is Jeremiah Kun. What is his experience? What is his worldview? What is his understanding? What leadership do you know he has provided in any serious place? What representation can he make at the United Nations for Liberia? Something that Joshua is doing is the same. He would give her another Joshua, or even worse than Joshua. Can he appear in front of the President of the United States and made an argument and made a presentation about our country? And will you be proud of whatever presentation he's going to make? No malice, no hate, nothing against this fellow citizen. He is my brother. He's your brother. He's our brother. He's our kind. We should respect him. But look, folks, leadership is not about who from your party. We are looking for leadership, people. We need it. It's good. If you get good leadership, you get the result you want. This football team called Manchester City. Many of you know football or like football. Manchester City is a football team that was established in 1880. Hear me well. 1880. Manchester City was established as a football in England. Ever since then, later on when the Champions League was created, Manchester City has always tried to participate. And Manchester City will perform dismally. A performance will be the worst, will not ever come close in the Champions League, even though Manchester City became one of the respected football clubs in England. But what did Manchester City do? Manchester City found a coach in Pep Guardiola. Who is Pep? He played for FC Barcelona as a footballer. And he will go back there and become a coach. Pep Guardiola won the Champions League with Barcelona. Pep Guardiola won the La Liga many times, or a few times, with Barcelona. If I remember serving, Pep Guardiola went to Inter Milan and he won trophies there. I'm telling you, Pep Guardiola is an experienced coach. He played the game. He served as a leader on the team. He became a coach. He had successes. The records are there. He has been a coach who delivers results, not only at domestic league, but at an international league, the Champions League. So Manchester City will make a decision to choose somebody with the experience, with the knowledge, and the know-how, because they wanted the Champions League. They appointed, they recruited Pep Guardiola. Pep will go and snatch the Champions League. It was possible because he was a leader with the history, with the record, with the know-how, with the experience. What experience does Kun have to be your president? The experience is being on the budget committee, Ways, Means, and Finance. Kun has been allotting money in the name of subsidy to his own businesses. That is why he knows. That is why he has been doing. That the man will be our president. This is how Joseph Boakai show us love. He telling us, love Liberia, build Liberia. Is that how you build Liberia? Giving us a corrupt individual to be your vice president or vice running mate who can become a president? And when he becomes president, what does he know to do? He will do what he has known, what his experiences have been. That's what he's going to do. He's not going to do anything different. President Weah being a footballer, so he came to the presidency. He has been playing football here and there. Went to the UAE, wore jersey, he played football. And because he's not a leader in the very football that he played, Liberia is a failure in all international competition under a footballing president. So when you don't have leadership, you don't have it. Kun is not a leader, period. You can't make him vice president and leave out Tiawan and leave out Cummings and leave out Sarah Besloyan and leave out other competent Liberians who, should anything happen to Joe Boakai in the event he wins, will be a better president for our country, who the world will respect and other leaders will respect us. That these are good people. They are proud people. They know who to choose to be their leader. If that's the case with us, that is not the case. And that makes Boakai a bad choice, who is in the likely category. And I am not going to miss my words on that. Do you see the picture? Do you think this is all about your party? Do you think this is just about because this person is bad, so we can just take anybody? That attitude must get out of us. This election has given us so much good choice, better choices. Tiawan is a better choice. Cummings is a better choice. Sarah Besloyan is a better choice. We have better choices. And let me bring it home to us. Look, as a people, and some of you maybe want to know what makes Cummings, Tiawan, Sarah Besloyan better choices. I think I've articulated that. I don't need to allow this show to go longer than I would like it to be. They are better choices. Who they are, their records. See how they conducted themselves, these citizens. They are humble. I'm not saying they are perfect, but for once, honestly look at their life, look at their history, look at places they've served, look at the success they have achieved. That is the success and history and experience Manchester City look at and they pay Pep Guardiola, and today they are the champions of the European Champions League, the biggest competition in Europe. Why you think we're supposed to look at the man from a party, Uncle Joe? Is that why you're supposed to be looking at? Seriously? Folks in cyberspace, my name is Anthony Sieh, and I brought you another edition of the Hour of Politics, and we have been discussing our 2023 likely choices bad compared to our unlikely choices, or our 2023 unlikely choices better compared to our likely choices. I hope I was able to do justice to the topic. I hope I was able to make you to reflect deeper and better. And I hope Focus on Liberia was successful in educating, as we always try to do. I hope Focus on Liberia was also successful in elevating the discussion. And I hope Focus on Liberia was also helpful in promoting good dialogue, good conversation, good journalism. I hope we were able to promote the image of Liberia with this presentation. The Liberians are serious people. They plan, they come with seriousness, and they do things that represent Liberia. I hope we were able to promote that about us as a people in this presentation and in all the presentation that you will see. I'll leave now to thank you for following us here at Focus on Liberia, for supporting what we do. We are a group of Liberians who come together with the passion to be better representatives of our people in this that we do. That's the only thing we say. Share the show, like the show, and if you wish to contribute to what we do, you can sure do. If you wish to do so, you can do it. Support something Liberian that is respected. I will close with this. Where are we as a people? Are some of us stuck in the past? And is that affecting us? Are there too many good Liberians than Liberians who continues to embarrass us? Who are the good Liberians? What are we doing? What makes us good Liberians anyway? Is it because of what we do, how we do it? Where are we as a people? Are some of us stuck in the past? Are we not living in the reality of today's world? Because in today's Liberia, what I see is that what is negative energy are the things people are gravitating to. Dennis Jam said, are we not living in the reality of today? Look at the people Liberians listening to in their majority. Look at the individuals and their records and their behaviors that Liberians listen to in their majority. Look at the platforms Liberians listen to in their majority. Look at the individuals who are heading the platforms. Look at the things they say. Look at the lies that they tell. Look at the insults that they rain on their fellow citizens. Look at the embarrassment that they are bringing to our people. Look at the individuals who are lawmakers with loud mouth, who people it's like the fire in them, hungry and thirsty to listen to these people who will pour out nothing but foolishness from their mouths. Liberians want to listen to those people. Look at platforms, individuals who insult. Liberians in their majority want to listen to these people. Crooks, thieves, corrupt individuals. These are the people Liberians are running behind. These are the people they gravitate to. But if you are a Liberian like me, if you say, I am not perfect, I have my share of mistakes, but I will endeavor as a citizen to not embarrass my country, that my conduct on the outside, in the public space, will not make anybody to question me, where is this guy from? Who is this person? Then it's like you are not a Liberian. It's like you don't matter. How did we get to this point? That what is better for us is not attractive. And what is so bad, so despicable, so disgracing, so disgusting. And that is the thing that all the people that Liberians are like, oh yeah, what is this with us? Where is it coming from? How did we get here? How can we change that? How do you change that? How do I change that? Well, I must leave now. I must say thank you. Follow us. Let us be our best for ourselves, for our families, for the institutions we belong to, and for the country that we are blessed to have collectively. Let us do that once and for all. Maybe, just maybe. Let us recognize the good ones. Let us elect people who are better for us based on their record. Let us not vote people because they are popular. Let us not vote people because they are insulting somebody you don't like. We have options. Some of our options are better. Some are actually good. Let's go for those ones. And let's do ourselves justice. Let us not repeat the mistake of Charles Taylor. Let us not repeat the mistake of George Weah. Let us not do that. Let us do the right thing. Let us choose the right people. It is our responsibility. Let us do it for this country, this time, once and for all. Thank you for watching. The song that closes the broadcast is "We Are All Liberians." We are all Liberians. That is why we must do all it takes to make Liberia proud with our choices, with our action, with our decisions, and the representation that we make. Enjoy the song "We Are All Liberians." Until I see you again, remember, focus on Liberia. It's your network that you can be proud of. Remember, the Hour of Politics is your most political, analytical show. Share it with somebody and tell them you should listen. And come back and tell me I need to do better. That's the way you help me. Criticize me. That's the way you help me. I will appreciate that. But you come to show me praises. I don't like praises. It get me cocky. And I drop the ball. And I let Liberia down. And I don't want to ever do that. The song "We Are All Liberians" takes us home. And until I see you again, the name is Anthony Cyr, the program The Hour of Politics, your network focus on Liberia. I love you all, and bye-bye. Vote right for Liberia.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home. Liberian people. Liberia.